To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the queen of the indies, Tiffany. And today I wanted to start off the new year with a return. I'm so excited. My friend JT Dunn, what is going on?
How you doing?
I'm good.
I get to be number one. How incredible.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad that you came back and chatting with us again. So there's so much to catch up on. So guys, if you're new here to the Under Rope series, here I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, promoters, referees, behind the scenes. I got you covered. Please make sure you share this this stream since Facebook's being a butt. So we're on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope, and the audio will be on later on. So if you guys got questions for JT Dunn, please feel free, drop them into the chat. Sure, he'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions.
Drop them in.
Drop them in there. Hey, good cop, bad cop, I see you in there. We were talking about your question earlier, which is really funny. So let's start it off again. So if you guys haven't watched part one, please go back on the Under Rope series, and you can go check out our first interview. So we're doing a little update today.
Like that was forever ago.
I know. I think it was like a year and a half ago, I think, actually.
Yeah, I was still keeping myself locked up in the house at that point.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So again, we have so much to talk about. So, since like the last time we spoke, we had like the pandemic going on. I mean, we're kind of pretty much still in the pandemic.
Yeah, we're going back.
But I mean, like, going back and like looking at, your 2021, you've had a fantastic year. So has that what sticks out to you the most, from different from prior years of your wrestling?
I would say last year, forget it's already 2022.
I know.
Last year was just probably one of my favorite years of all the years I've been in wrestling. It was the first year where I just dedicated it to doing whatever I wanted to and having fun. Going into the pandemic, I think we might have touched on this in the last episode. I wasn't having fun 2019, even 2018, coming off an injury, having to regroup and go get my buzz back. And there's just so many different things that can derail you in wrestling. and I just wasn't having fun anymore. So for me, the pandemic was like one of the best things that ever happened.
Right.
Being able to just force myself to stay home and let my body heal, let my mind heal. At one point, I just pretty much tweeted out like, "Hey, I'm done with wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this no more." It wasn't fun. It sucked my soul out. I felt there's only so many times you can hear a no before it just really settles in on you. Like, hey, maybe this is not what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
So I took that time to just reevaluate and just kind of make a new plan. And I told myself that if I fell back in love with wrestling again, then I'm going to go back into it full force. If it just kind of is a gradual thing and the emotions and the feelings pass, then maybe it just isn't for me anymore. And I gave it my best shot. So right now, at today's moment, I'm probably the most in love with pro wrestling that I've ever been in my entire life.
I love to hear that. I mean, I think I hear from like numerous wrestlers, even when I do these podcasts or even personal friends, they'll sit here and they'll be like, you know, oh, I can't stand wrestling, or like, oh, you know, like I'm ready to quit. Like I hear it all the time, you know, and then it's like,
yeah, it's unfortunate
Yeah.
because it's not the wrestling that I dislike. It's never the wrestling. I love the wrestling. I love the challenge of it. I
Right.
love the competitors. I love the sport itself, the challenges that it puts in front of you. I hate the people in wrestling. I feel like nobody wants to be genuine. You can get away and be successful being yourself. Everybody becomes a character in wrestling online, on social media, to get bookings, and they just. I think I saw a tweet earlier. I forget who it was from, but it was like, stop walking around throughout your life as if your theme song is playing 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing, man. Like, you don't have to portray that character. That ego isn't real.
Yeah.
Like, the decisions in wrestling are made between the both of us.
Right.
You're not really beating me up, bro. Like, it's just not happening like that. So I think the egos in wrestling, they just need to like kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Like, relax yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel now it's so easy to get into wrestling. It's so easy to get over in wrestling compared to a few years ago where social media kind of dictates everything. There's a lot of people who are just really loud on social media, and then I meet them or I get in the ring with them and they're just absolute trash. And I hate that, because like the voice should match the talent, and
Right.
there's a lot of it that isn't. And then still afterwards, the voice is just still going, but the talent isn't catching back up.
Right.
So I mean, I feel like social media is really giving people an edge here. But me, I guess I'm in that category of old school. The bell rings. Let's get in there and prove something. Prove
Yeah.
it to me.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's crazy, but it's also like at the same time too. It's like this is the time to like love pro wrestling, and I feel like within the last year, with everything that we have seen, whether we've got onto like mainstream and the things that have been like possible too, I feel like has like opened love for like a lot of other people
Yeah.
as well in wrestling, which is great. And also like people on social media, like, dude, like sometimes they take it so seriously, and you know, like
man,
again, like you
it's
said, it's a
ridiculous.
character, you know.
Yeah. And like I get it, and I get how people have to be to get over and continually have your bookings and do your storylines and all. Like, I get it, man. Like, I probably get it better than anybody.
Yeah.
But it's that face-to-face interaction where I sit there and I can't tell the difference between the character and the human.
Yeah.
And I get that's like probably a thing people didn't like about me when I was younger. I also didn't know better. But nowadays, everybody's so smart to wrestling. Not knowing any better isn't an excuse that's acceptable anymore. Like,
Right.
everybody knows on this side of the guardrail and the other. Everybody knows the true, like, great professional wrestlers are the one who can still just give us all the magic and let us forget for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, an entire show. Like, that it's a show.
Yeah.
When you come back through the curtain and you're still doing your thing that you were doing out there, I just want to walk up and just lay the law down, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm getting on a different subject here.
No, it's all good. Prince is in chat. He goes, Pro Wrestling Savior is in the house. Take the pledge. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, it's funny. I'm so glad, like, again, we have actually, you know, did this podcast a year and a half ago, and like we never actually met, even though like I've been
Yeah.
in the building before where you have Wrestle, but you know, it's so funny. I feel like that with a lot of people that I've had on the podcast, and then we didn't meet till like after the podcast too. So it was cool because Creative Pro was a couple of months ago in Lynbrook, New York. So I got to finally come there, and it was cool because I know Love Doug was hanging out, and I just like came up to him, and he was just like hanging out. I'm like, hey, I was like, I've been dying to meet you too. But we finally got to meet, which was great. So I was really excited.
Which is way better than meeting Love Doug.
Oh. I love all you guys. No, I'm not getting in trouble.
You have to be unbiased right now, but
yeah,
I know the real.
All you guys try to get me in trouble with each other. We just had Alec Price on recently. He trying to get me in trouble with Big Game Leroy. Like, listen, okay? I love you all. That's it. I love you all. That's it. But, you know, it's been a while also, too, at, like, Creative Pro, that I've been to a Creative Pro show. They came back finally.
Great.
Yeah. And it was really cool to see, like, some people that I haven't seen. Dan Housing was there. I've been dying to see. I got to see Ariella Nix, like, a whole bunch of people that either they've been on this podcast or I've been a fan of for years. But, you know, you had a match there, and you worked with Bryce Donovan. And, like, I think that was actually the first time that I actually seen him too, and you guys had a hell of a match.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to be coy about it. We stole the show. It's all right. I mean, I lost. That still pisses me off. But I think one of the things, again, that I love about wrestling is that first-time magic. When you wrestle somebody that you're unfamiliar with, not that I didn't know who he was, because I did.
Right.
But when you first get in the ring with them, it's very hard for everything to go right.
Right.
And even when the things go wrong, being able to capitalize and correct the mistakes in the ring. That's my job. That's what I'm there for, is to be able to teach those lessons, in that instance to Bryce. But we had a badass little match.
Yeah.
I was cool. A cool debut. It was great to have the OG ringside with me.
Yeah.
I remember just having a blast. And now it's been cool to see him come down this way and get him over here in Chaotic Wrestling. And I know he does the Beyond shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so cool. I saw that he made his AEW, like, you know, debut, which we'll get into with yours as well. But what was kind of cool is, like, he had his whole fan base, like, in, like, this one entire section. It's really, I mean, how is that for you? Like, let's talk a little bit about that. Like, you're wrestling somebody else, right? And it's like the whole family, the whole friends. Like, I've been around a lot of different wrestlers, and I've seen, like, them fill up the place. Like, it's nuts. Like, and, like, you feed into it more as well, like, to go mess with them, which is entertaining as hell. Like,
yeah, I think I was blowing kisses to his aunt or his mom or something. I don't know. I love it because I remember, this is me now dating myself. I remember being like the younger talent trying to break out, getting to wrestle in my hometown or my home area, and filling it with people that I knew that just wanted to be there to support me.
Right.
We've done the shows in Fet Music here in Providence where there'd just be 100 people that I knew in the building surrounded by all these wrestling fans that were there to see the rest of the show. And it was great because that momentum, that adrenaline, that emotion in the room can carry you to like the next level. Like sometimes it's hard to wrestle up, as they say, when you're in the ring with somebody that is just better than you. Mm-hmm. It's hard and you really have to have it. And if that emotion in the room is in the ring with you at the same time, it's a great combination and special things can happen. And I think that was a direct result of our match, and why it was so good is he was in a pressure situation where here's everybody that loves him, here to wrestle him. Here's one of the best wrestlers in the world who drove into this town to come and work with him. And it was my debut, so I have a lot to show out for. He's trying to have this badass match with me, so he's got a lot to show out for. So those type of situations can either make or break you, and I think it made him that night. Then he went on, I believe he wrestled Bronson the show after, and they killed it too. So like once you get it rolling and you really capitalize on that, then the crowd being friends and family becomes irrelevant. You already have that emotion. You have the rest of the room captivated.
Right. It's crazy. It's special. I love that. I love seeing that where the fans are all into it. It makes it more entertaining. Us fans, like, you know, we make the matches too for you guys because he'll play it off like the heels. Like I mean, I'm easy target for anybody that knows me, I get dived at. I get into the people get in my face, like. But I love these interactions. But that's me. But it's fun for you because I think also too, if it's too quiet, it's like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the last time it's been too quiet for me. Like again, one of the tricks of the trade. I don't allow it to be quiet. I know how to trigger the audience, my opponent, just something to start getting reactions, getting the emotion change in the room. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be verbal. It can be physical. It can be a specific sequence, move. I can just put them in the corner and chop them.
Right.
I'm known for blowing your back out through your chest with a chop. So, I mean, that usually wakes everybody up. But again, it's just all those things, and you learn them over the course of being in the ring with people who are better than you, which I think is something like the newer wrestlers really need to strive for. Is like I get you start to become over, I guess, on a very small level within like your 10-mile radius, and I think that starts to go to a lot of people's heads where they're just like, oh man, within these 3 states, everybody loves me. Like. Take yourself and insert yourself on the other side of the country and nobody knows who you are. Right. Being able to get around the world, or the country for that matter, and get in the ring with people who are better than you should be the goal. That's what everybody should be striving for. It shouldn't be doing the same thing in the same place against the same people for the same amount of time every year. And I think that's what expedited me in the ring to my success. There was those first stagnant years where I was learning how to even be in the wrestling business. And then once I understood that aspect of it, and I just was like, okay, I can't wrestle anybody who, when I look at them, egotistical wise or whatever, if I think that I'm the same as them and they're not, and I don't think they're better than me, I don't want to be in the ring with them. Right. I want to be in the ring with somebody who I'm afraid they're going to out wrestle me and embarrass me. And fortunately for me, a lot of those matches happened here at home in Providence, where like the Garganos, the Elgins, the Green Ants, like the Biff matches, Dijak, Hero, like all that stuff happened in front of my hometown. So I was forced to either be good or my career was over. And that was it. I live and die in Providence. Well, thankfully that didn't happen.
I love it. Actually, the perfect person just came into the chat. Our friend Sky, who I actually messaged her. She lives in UK. She's 18. She's actually an inspired wrestler now. She started training about, how many weeks is it now, Sky? 8 weeks? A little more than that?
8 weeks. Oh, man.
Yeah. So I actually had messaged her a week ago, and I told her about you, that I really thought that she would enjoy this particular interview, that you would give a lot of insight for her as well. So I know she's taking notes. She's been taking a lot of notes with a lot of the podcasts. So big supporter of us. So thank you. So she's very hyped in the chat. So let's go. Let's talk about the unit. All right, let's do it. Let's go there. We're start off with bang pretty much.
This might be one of the first times I've actually talked about it. I don't do podcasts too much.
I know. I feel so honored that you come on here and chat with me.
Yeah,
so I appreciate it.
As soon as you announced that I was coming on your podcast, my DM started getting blown up at the podcast. And I was like, nah, I'm good, man. Like, I'm not just gonna do this one. So literally, whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it.
Awesome.
I probably won't do another podcast until like 2024.
That will be mine.
Yeah, it'll be yours.
So sorry, podcasters out there. So I love you, but I get the tea right here. So again, let's talk the unit. Okay, like I'm gonna keep it vague on my end, because again, like there are those people out there that don't know you. This is the first time that they're seeing you again, like Sky. I obviously know you. I know about the unit, but I would love for you to sit here and explain, to anybody that's listening to this podcast, like, how it started. What are your plans going forward? I know you said something to me about a branch in Midwest, so give us the tea. Let us know.
All right. So I'm going to be real here. The real human in me. The unit was literally started because, again, like I had said in the beginning, I wasn't sure my next direction in wrestling. If I was going to stay in wrestling, I was having doubts. Like, there's a reason why I'm not making $1 million right now. What is it? Is it my attitude, my look, the way I carry myself, the company I keep? Am I just not as good as a wrestler as I think that I am? all of those things sat in my brain during the pandemic. And then when I finally started to lean towards getting back to wrestling, I started going to the school and training up in North Andover, the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. If you're in this area, that's the school for you. It's attached to Chaotic Wrestling as well, which I own now. But in regards to coming back, I was like, I want to have fun. Like, I need to have fun because the feeling I had before the pandemic was not fun. That made me hate wrestling. I had given up so many things in my real life and sacrificed everything, which a lot of people have. You hear the stories a million times: the birthdays, the anniversaries, the relationships, everything. I gave up literally everything for pro wrestling. And it was worth it to me at that time. And then when we got put on lockdown, I was kind of like, man, I have nothing right now. Like, I have nothing because wrestling is gone. I didn't realize how big of an impact wrestling was making on my life. So when I decided to come back, I sat down with the OG. And we were just talking, and I was just venting to him. And I was just like, you know what, man? Like, if I'm going to come back, like, I want to be surrounded by people where when I look to my left and I look to my right, I'm just comfortable. Like, I don't want to be a character anymore. And I want to feel the most sincere about everything I say because it needs to be real. Every word that comes out of my mouth needs to be genuine. It needs to come from a real place. And if that doesn't get me $1 million contract, then it's just not meant to be. Because if I'm going to be the best version of me and it doesn't work, then I'm okay with that. I don't want to be a character because if the character doesn't work, that means I can just try another one and try another one and try another one. I'm going to be me. So we kind of settled on that. And then I picked the place to come back to, and it was Chaotic Wrestling. And in doing so, I started just looking to the people who either impacted my life in a specific way or I was able to impact their life in a specific way. And we really sat down. And one of the things that I talked when we had William Regal here a couple years back at Chaotic, he had said to me about the Savior of Pro Wrestling, which was like a play on Hero's thing from CZW way back, and then he became Wrestling Savior, and they kind of just became my thing when I was his protege, and it kind of just took off from there. I never really understood, and people were joking me, like, what are you saving? Like, what exactly is it that you're the savior of? We know of wrestling, but what the hell are you saving it from? And I never really had an answer. And this was my chance, my fresh start to create that answer. And in real life, the members of the unit, we've all been impacted in a certain way with our demons, our troubles, our past, our future, everything. And I've been the person that's been there for all of the members. Like, each one, like, it's not happenstance that they're in the group. They're individually selected for the greater purpose. The OG, Danny Miles, Mike Verna, Ace Romero, Dango, like the core group, they're there for a reason. We've all had each other's back, and I've been the one to, I guess, figuratively and literally talk them off the ledge, whether it was a demon inside of wrestling or a demon outside of wrestling. I'm the guy who brought them back. And to me, it doesn't get more real than that. I'm sure later on we'll talk about the addiction part of my life and all that stuff. But everybody else has those same battles. And I've been very, very open. And I think even now at this point in my life, I need to be more open about it. Sometimes I feel like I don't talk about it enough because I'm too afraid that I'll lose that control again. But now I'm at this point where I feel like I could never lose control over anything because I'm the most real me ever. So in saying that, we brought the OG on board first. That's my best friend. Everybody knows that. We've been wrestling each other since 2012. He was my first wrestling feud. He was the guy who helped talk me into my sobriety, him and Dave Cole. They kind of showed me the light. They told me everything I was doing wrong. And then along my journey, I met Danny Miles, and same type of thing. We're battling demons. My story resonated. I had words of advice and wisdom, and they hit home for him, and it got him to stay in wrestling. Same thing with Verna, same thing with Ace, and then Dango was just like a new acquaintance for me until recently. So it's been really cool to add him into the mix. But genuinely, like, I just wanted the unit to be real. So like what you guys see happening is real. The emotions are real. The arguments we have on camera, on Twitter, like that's real. That's really how we interact with each other. When we play video games, we're just yelling at each other, talking shit. When we're doing promos, we're just talking like. And here's a fun fact: every unit promo that you've ever seen from the beginning of 2021 until last week's, they're all done in one take. That's it.
Awesome.
I have a rule, one take. It's genuine, it's organic, it just happens. If it gets messed up, we're going to make it work. And if we don't, then it never sees the light of day. And every promo we filmed has been out there. Nothing has been not released. We're not sitting on stock footage or anything. Like, it's just out there because it's real.
Right.
And I think that's why it's found, I don't want to say success, but I guess that's the easiest way to describe it. That's why it's successful right now. That's why the merchandise sells. That's why they're screaming, take the pledge at all the shows we're going to, whether we're the good guys or the bad guys. The fans you can feel it. We're wrestling for a purpose, for each other. Like every time we get beat up and we don't want to get back up, it used to be selfish. Like, I got to get back up for me. I got to finish this match. It's like, no, I got to get my ass back up because Danny's counting on me. I need to have the best match of my life, because if I don't, it's going to affect Mike Berna. It's going to affect Dango. It's going to affect the OG or Ace. That's my perspective now. And I've been having I've had great matches before.
Yeah.
I mean, great. This is so stupid to say. In other people's perspective, they're great. I could sit here and the match could be 10 minutes and I could spend 60 minutes ripping it apart. Mm-hmm. But those matches were great because they were what I needed at that point in time. But right now, my body of work, I think, is the best it's ever been. I've learned my full purpose in the ring. I've learned the art of elevating people all around me. And now it's crazy to see when you really focus on it. Like, I started elevating with just the members of the unit. Now I'm elevating entire rosters and shows, and I'm able to... I know I'm jumping all over the place.
No, you're fine. Don't worry. You're good.
Sorry, guys. my scatterbrain.
No,
this
you're
is
good.
what happens with 10 years of getting hit in the head. I remember specifically one of the conversations we first had when we sat down with the unit members was when I described to them what I wanted the unit to be. I was like, hey, I want it to be a spider web. Just think of the biggest, craziest spider web you've ever seen in your life. That's what I want the unit to be. And they all looked at me like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, man, in a spider web, what's the purpose of that spider web? It's for shit to get caught in it so the spider can come and feast. That's the whole purpose of the web. Somewhere for that thing to live its life and catch all of its food. I want the unit to catch everything around it. I was like, and anytime something touches our web, we just attack. We just go full force at it. Somebody comes at us online, we're all going at them like a pack of wolves. If we're having a segment in the ring, we're all involved in that segment. If we're having a match, we're all the input is involved. All the people on the roster, like, nobody's safe. Nobody's exempt from being able to work with us. We're not exempt from working with anybody else. Like, I want everything. I want to have my reach just be astronomical, bigger than it's ever been. And I think maybe at first they thought I was just blowing smoke up their ass, and they were like, oh, here's JT with his fucking death by elbow stories and all this. Like, no, man, it's a real thing. And we talked it out loud and we put it out in the universe. And right now we're taking over. The East Coast belongs to us. In a 14 state radius up and down from where I live in Providence is unit territory. And we were talking about the Midwest. I have returned to Wrestling Revolver. Everybody knows it's Sami Callihan's promotion, his baby. So I did return the last show. Unfortunately, I lost the ladder match. That involved Rich Swann, Trey Miguel, and the Man Scout, where it was on Botchamania. It's an infamous spot now. The belt got stuck in the rope when Swann went to go pull it down. He was swinging there. I tried to stab him with scissors, the whole 9 yards. Didn't work. And then he won the match and won the Wrestling Revolver title. At the end of the match, I have an investor in my career, I guess, from the sidelines. He's kind of always been there. His name is Phil Stamper. He's one of the most creative people in wrestling, and he has been a guy who has believed in me for a long, long time, probably before I started really believing in myself. And when I first came to Revolver, him and Killer Cross, I can call him that again, him and Killer Cross, there was I think the match is online for free. You can look it up. It's from Revolver. It's myself versus Cross in his debut. At the end, there's a promo there where he just grabs the mic and, as the term is, he shoots on me. And he pretty much just tells me, like, stop messing around. You're wasting your career. You're so goddamn talented, and you're just messing around. You're giving everybody else what they want, but you're not doing anything for yourself. And by the time I got back into the locker room, which is probably about 45 seconds, it just hit me different. Like, it really, really resonated me. And I've been able to learn from some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But it was that 3 minutes of him just, like, berating me in front of everybody after he just beat the shit out of me. I'm sitting in the corner like, dude, you just kicked my ass and now you're making fun of me? Like, what the fuck? Like, I should have just stayed home. This sucks. And that's normally how I would think. And for some reason, it just translated differently. And I got to the back, and Phil was just like, hey, we got this idea. We're going to turn you, and you're going to join the Revelation with me and Cross tonight. And I was like, oh, man, that's the opposite of everything that I normally would do. But let's do it. And it just grew into this big thing. And then when Cross got signed, it kind of became time for me to, again, stand on my own and do my own thing. And that was like the beginning of the unit, because there was like a variation of it before here in Providence for Wrestling Has a Tomorrow that did involve myself, Danny Miles, and Big Bacon Brad Hollister. But because of the pandemic, the shows were cut short because we went to lockdown. So like that version of the unit never really got legs. And then this version of the unit here in New England and the East Coast took off so that we could have this moment at Revolver where after that ladder match, Phil brought out Infrared and Larry D, and we just assaulted Rich Swann. And I got my Midwest incarnation of the unit. So now there's East Coast, there's Midwest, next is down south and West Coast. And when people ask what the Savior is, I finally have a response for them. Like, there's all of these careers and all these other people that I'm starting to impact on a different level simply by just being myself and speaking my word. And my version of wrestling, my version of life is impacting them so much that they're either going out of their way to do what's necessary to help me succeed, because in doing so, they are going to succeed, which is like a crazy concept. But I mean, since we've been starting it, everybody's bookings have gone up. Their pay has gone up. Their merch sales have gone up. They're all over the place. They're traveling. Companies are sharing more of the unit talent than ever before. And it's becoming a thing where even in your promotion, if you don't want us to be the unit, the crowd isn't going to let you ignore it.
Right.
There's certain promotions that didn't want us to be the unit. And the crowd took over, and they just started screaming for it. And that's it, man. It's game over. Once they're invested and they believe and they support. So, I mean, thank you guys. I mean, thank you and fuck you. I guess it's kind of the same thing. And I know when we're live in the ring, I can't smile as I'm smiling right now, or be as bashful and beat red in the face as I am right now, because I got to be big and mean.
Yeah.
But man, my journey in wrestling has been crazy, from the most beloved guy I think on the indies to now I'm aiming to be the complete opposite. I'm aiming to be this cult leader, hated, sexy man, and here we are.
I love it. Wait, I saw a question from Sky. She says, where can I watch JT Dunn and the unit wrestle?
So like I said, we're starting to branch out even more, but you have your Chaotic Wrestlings, your Wrestling Revolver, Northeast Wrestling, Limitless Wrestling, and there's all the promotions here in the East Coast that are a little bit smaller, that are starting to elevate themselves now that we have the ability to have live audiences. You'll see the different members pop up here and there, the Top Ropes, the Test of Strengths. Yeah, I mean, every time I'm put on the spot, I can never think of it, but I'm pretty sure I named the ones that are a little bit in the forefront of my brain. Hopefully that gives you an answer. But online, you know how it is. You fall into the YouTube wormhole. You find one match, it leads you and bleeds you into the rest of it. 7 hours gone by, and you have to call it a work.
Pretty much. That's usually how it goes. You start with one, and then it's like, ooh, let me follow you here and there, and it's great.
Yep.
It's funny. I got a question from John Alba.
Oh, my man.
He goes, what's his thoughts on becoming the prestigious unit?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. You got a goddamn Emmy. I don't got one of those. You're probably gonna have to ditch the other guys, though. Like, we don't really need the other guys. So if you want to just join us, that's cool. You make it prestigious as it is, and well, we're the unit. So.
Love John Alba. He's been joining into a bunch of my chats lately for MSP.
Hey, for John, congratulations on the new podcast with Matt Hardy. That's incredible. Tell Matt I said hi. Miss him.
Yeah, so awesome. Love John. He's so great. So here we have another fan tweet from My Alter Ego. He goes, when it comes to the unit, is there a woman you would love to welcome into the group? Also, how has the ownership of Chaotic been treating you?
The ownership is incredible, and I have had fun the last few weeks being whatever name they're going to give me, the King, El Presidente, El Dad, whatever of Chaotic. Um, the show coming up on January 14th. I think it's one of the strongest cards we've ever put together. Obviously, it's got a lot of my flavor in it. Pandemonium, the New England Championship on the line, the Panoptic Championship on the line. Like, for me, I feel like if you have a championship and a champion on your show, they're just going to fight. They're going to defend that title. It's just the way it is. I love fighting champions. I am always a fighting champion. So I want Chaotic to really embody that. So it's been cool. The fun but not fun part is having to answer so many messages. Like, I'm very low key. I live a very low key lifestyle. So constantly having to be on my phone because people are sending me footage, resumes, asking me how to get booked, or anything like that. That part I don't mind. I can't not watch the footage. So I should be going to bed at certain times and I got my phone in my face and I'm just like, if I don't watch this match of this kid, he's going to be upset. When really I don't have to, but I'm hours and hours and hours and hours deep into people's resumes and footage. So, I mean, it comes with the territory. I do enjoy it. I can't stop. And the other question was a woman in the unit, correct?
Yes. Would you add one and who?
So that has probably been the most asked question even when it was just down to 3 members, when it was myself, the OG, and Danny. People started asking me because they know I'm an avid fan of women's wrestling. I constantly am fighting women, getting my ass kicked by them probably every other weekend. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I guess I'm still waiting for that one person to stick out to me and just embody everything that we are. Like all the things that I had said before, I need to feel that same vibe. Like I need to, not that I need to know the person, because you can always get to know somebody, but I need to feel like they love wrestling as much as I do. They're dedicating as much time to their craft. Like, I don't want somebody who's just like, oh, the unit's cool, let me go be a part of it. Or I also, on the other side, don't want to be like, oh, this person's cool, let me put them in the unit. And so I guess time will tell when it finally bleeds together. Initially, since we're breaking the fourth wall, Davienne would have been the prime candidate to be in the unit. With us being tag team partners for a while at Chaotic Wrestling, even like a Tasha Steeles would have been somebody, a Jessica Havoc, just spitballing names off the top of my head real fast.
There's a lot. There's a lot of great women out there. There's a lot.
More than ever, and that's fantastic. And please keep kicking ass. Yeah. Please make these guys scared that they're not going to be booked on shows no more.
I love these intergender matches. It's like one of my favorite things. Like, seeing it.
So I think intergender wrestling was something that expedited my career. Wrestling the Candice LeRae's, the Kimberly's, the Christina Von Aries, like early in my Beyond days, like the millions and millions of views definitely helped me. But I want to get to a point where intergender wrestling isn't intergender wrestling; it's just wrestling,
right?
Like just two wrestlers fighting each other, and that was something I feel like successful at Chaotic Wrestling, where now Davienne isn't an intergender match. Like that's a heavyweight champion fighting another wrestler, and especially in Chaotic, where the fans are so used to specific things. Guys don't wrestle girls there. Oh my God! Like, guys didn't even team with girls there before Davey and I. Certainly not be champions. But I had a goal. I had a mission. We both did, and it was to just change the landscape. I didn't want anybody to ever be able to guess what was going to happen. I didn't want it to be ordinary anymore. And Davey was the right person at the right time in my life for me to be like Pokemon.
Yeah.
I choose you. You. It's you. And man, like, I know we're supposed to hate each other right now, and I do want to punch her right in the neck. But I have never, ever been in the ring with somebody who is a female talent who has brought it the whole match as much as Davey. Yeah. And I put her through the ringer. Like, it's cool. You can have your 8-minute match. That's great. But in chaotic, when we were forced to sell tickets and we're forced to have these angles get over to sell out these bigger shows that we're having 5 times a year, we got to wrestle for 30 minutes. We got to wrestle for 45 minutes. And the locker room jokes about me always going over my time because I just get in the moment, and we coordinate the shows based off of how long they think I'm going to wrestle. And Davey got to see that, and now it's like easy for her. We used to joke about her getting blown up in 6 minutes, and now she can do 45-minute sprints and just be amazing.
Yeah.
So it's a testament to her hard work. I did not take it easy on her, just like those who trained me and taught me didn't take it easy on me, because in the long run, this is exactly what I said to her, and it's the same thing that was said to me. I'm going to teach you everything that they don't want you to know, because they want you to have to say, oh, I've been doing this for 8 years, but there's no reason why you can't have that information in 3 or 4 or 5 years. There's no set timeline anymore for when you can have all of these things, these qualities, these skills, these secrets, the magic. I'm going to give it to you right now. But the promise and the goal is when the next person you see is that person, you got to do it for them. You got to do the same thing for them. You have to treat them the same way I'm treating you. You got to teach them everything that I'm teaching you. And we got to continue to build all of these superstars from our area.
Yeah.
Because New England, to me, is the most dominant area in all of wrestling.
Yeah.
The best wrestlers in the world come from New England, and I will put I don't know where my wallet is. I will slam that down. It's got 12 credit cards and a stack of cash in it. I'll bet you that. I will put any of my wrestlers from New England against any wrestlers from anywhere, and we're better.
I want to come up to one of the shows. Like, if I can get better by like next week, we'll see. I might take the road trip. Yes, just like, listen, antibiotic and everything's been my friend. Like, you know, I'm very sad that I didn't get to go to New Year's with, you know, Massachusetts and, you know, Limitless, Beyond, and all those great shows, and H2O. I'm very upset. But, like, you know, what you got coming up, which we'll get into in a little bit, I don't know. We'll see. If I could get better, I might take the road trip up. So we'll see. I'm actually really excited.
I'll be here.
So yes, definitely. Let me give some love in this chat because I see David's telling me to ask you. David says, JT, would you like to face Alex Zane and Blake Christian?
Yes. Not just because they're popular wrestlers or anything. Their style and my style are like built for each other.
Yeah.
I know that in the past, I've had the most success wrestling people who do their style of wrestling. The Aero Foxes, the Rich Swans, Trey Miguel's, all the Chris Sabins, like all of these guys. Like I've wrestled everybody, and I'm very successful in those matches. So absolutely, hell yeah, they're super talented.
Yeah.
Why would I not? I could learn something from them too.
Yeah. I always even like, I love those H2O students very much, which we'll get into a bunch of that stuff later too. But I'm always telling them, like, I love that, you know, even though like the same kind of style, I kind of like when you get the different kind of styles too. Yeah. That one you can learn from each other. And sometimes they make like the best matches. Like, yeah. I mean, we could talk about Jordan Oliver. I mean, how he took a lot of notes off of social media, people saying, oh, he's just high flying. And then now, like, look at him. It's like years later now. And like, he could do a little bit of everything. And like, you know, he's like one of the top wrestlers also too going as well. So love it. And I love my Alex Zane and my Blake Christian. So, good people. Okay, so most recently, again, like I've had a lot of people, especially even like people from Limitless. We've had Alec Price on, we had MSP on. So also we've had Love Doug on. We love Love Doug. And
Who's we?
Okay, fine. I love Doug. Okay, all right.
He's ugly. He can't even
Damn, really? You gotta be like that. All right. So a fan asked in the chat during the podcast, and they said, who would you love to spread some love to in the ring? Well, his response was AC. And I had talked about how that I need to get AC onto this podcast as well, and that I've had you on before as well. But he pretty much told me that I'm fueling the unit, and he's trying to end the unit. Like, what are your thoughts about this comment here?
Oh, man. My thoughts are, I know that Love Doug lives 26 minutes away from me. I will drive to his house right now, live on this podcast, pull him out of his house, and beat this shit out of him.
No. Love Doug's
There
not
is
gonna love me
nobody-
anymore.
There is nobody more annoying to my career right now than Love Doug.
Now I'm in trouble.
That's it. And he's screwed now that I own Chaotic. Like, if you notice, he's not even on the show.
Yeah, like what the hell? Like you were like, oh, what was it? 25 retweets was it? And then you're like, oh, if he gets, or was it 16? Whatever it was. And
16, low number.
and then he got it. And then you put the little promo up, and you're laughing at it, like, no, like not happening. Like, wow.
Sorry, Douglas.
Damn.
I lied.
Damn, that's so rude. All right, so now that I'm in trouble with Love Doug, I'm sorry. You know, like I'm gonna have to send him something. All right, let's talk AEW, because AEW has been like the hot thing. A lot of people on this podcast that I've interviewed through the years. I mean, Jesus, all the interviews. What am I up to today? Like, it's just nuts. 137. So I've interviewed 137 people on this podcast, and you know, a bunch of people have gone and been able to go to AEW Dark or Elevation, which is so exciting for me that I'm like, damn, like now we got like stuff to talk about. So I want to hear your experience with AEW, being in front of that huge crowd. Like, come on, give me the tea. I want to know.
I mean, I'll be very, very honest with you. It just felt natural.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, obviously, it's not my first time being in front of a large audience, doing like Raw, SmackDown bullshit years ago.
Yeah.
But when we did the match in New Jersey against Santana and Ortiz, that one was the one where if you watch the footage back during their entrance, it had been the first time since the pandemic where I had been in front of that many people. And I just kind of looked around, surveyed the area, and for the first time in probably 5 years, I got nervous. Granted, obviously, I know what's going on. It's pro wrestling, but like, I got nervous, and I was like, damn, okay. That's where I realized, like, I love this, because if I'm not getting nervous, I'm complacent, and then I've already lost. I've lost everything. I lost my mind. I've lost my body, my soul. I've lost it. And I was nervous, and I just got this big ass smile on my face. And the bell rang, and I just pressed these guys in the ring, and we went to battle. And that's kind of where I got to the back, and I'm very like tight on the things that I reveal from backstage, good,
Right.
bad, or indifferent. But walking back through that curtain, granted, what you saw on TV was just a minuscule amount of that day. I think people respect and appreciate what a person like me is able to do in a limited amount of time. My calling card in wrestling or in the ring is my selling. That's what makes me special. If you don't let me talk and you just give me the opportunity to sell, I'm going to show you I'm worth $1 million. And that's what my goal was that night. It wasn't to go out there and be an ass kicker. It wasn't go get over. It was to go and take these guys who are two of my best friends. I've known them for 10 plus years. Like literally when we first started wrestling, even though they're from New York and I'm from Providence, life brought us together. And they weren't as jacked as they are now, that far back. And we used to wrestle each other, talking about moments like that where we'd be in front of 16,000 people, doing our moves, just having fun, like laughing in the ring while we're beating the shit out of each other. So that's what that was. Like 5 minutes felt like an eternity because I was having fun with my friends in front of all these people. And then when I got to the back and the right people there were talking about my selling and my ability to stand out, and do everything that was asked of me. And again, like that locker room is all people that I've been wrestling with for the last 7 years. Like I've wrestled all of them on the biggest shows in independent wrestling, like wherever it is, the PWGs, whatever you guys consider to be the big shows. I've wrestled that locker room there. I've had 40-minute matches with these guys. Like they know what I'm capable of. So it's cool to just have another chance after feeling like I was done with wrestling. Just another chance, like salvation, redemption, however you want to describe it. That one felt good. And obviously that led to the next like 6 ones that I've done. and they were cool. Like even I just went on vacation a couple weeks ago. Somehow found myself in the goddamn ring.
It was funny because I was going to bring that up too, because I was going to
Yeah.
talk about traveling, and it's like, I mean, you had a great birthday, and it was funny because I was actually talking about this with a friend last night, and I was like, dude, I need to talk about these damn donuts that he posted on Facebook. Like, I mean,
So, I've never, like, I don't take vacations. Like,
Yeah.
I have a real job here in Providence. I don't ever really talk about, but I'm the general manager of fitness facilities here in Providence, and I have a full-time wrestling schedule. So I was like, you know what? I need a break. Like, I've been doing so much wrestling and so much work. I work 60 hours a week on top of wrestling and traveling and flights and all that bullshit. Again, this is not me complaining. I love my life. I love it, love it, love it. Right now, my life, the best it's ever been. And I just called the OG, and we joked about taking a vacation, and we planned our trip, I want to say back in like October, about the flights, everything, coordinated everything we were going to do. And then maybe 4 days before I left, I got a call, and I was like, son of a bitch. Like, God, damn it. And then I called the OG, and I was like, hey, man. He was just like, what company? I was like, yeah, man. So I got this opportunity, man, to talk to these guys. It's just one day, though, I promise, just one day. And of course he's gonna let me, like, not that he's not gonna stop me, but that was our time, man. Like, again, that's my real life best friend, and he was cool. He was just like, bro, like, whatever is gonna help you make $1 million, go do it. So it was just coincidental that the tapings were down there. My vacation was happening to go down there, so it was cool, man. And again, it doesn't feel like work when I'm there. I do so much stuff aside from being in the ring for whatever allotted at time when I'm at AEW. Like I wear multiple hats, and I think like having those matches with Cody and the Bucks and all that stuff before the pandemic and everything, they were able to see how versatile I am. Like even when they came to Boston, I was doing so many other things. Like I think they had the Rampage promo with me, Kingston, and CM Punk, which is crazy, man. That's like Punk's my favorite wrestler, like him and Hero. Those are my guys. So to be able to have Chris come back into my life to do seminars and do the Chaotic show with us, and then 2 weeks before that, I'm with CM Punk. Like everything I knew in my life was going in the right direction. And like I had said when we first started, being me was either going to make or break me. And when I found myself just hanging out with Punk for days at a time, I was like, oh shit, okay, well, this is where I'm supposed to be. And then Chris came back to wrestling, and like one of the first things he did was come teach at our school over here in Massachusetts, and then do the meet and greet at the Chaotic show. Like I'm like, damn, all right, so I'm making the right decisions. So I knew taking that booking and going to do the show in Orlando was the right decision, because it was life telling me, hey, this is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It turned out to be a fun little match. Got in there with I really wanted to wrestle Martin. Is like Dante as bad as you could probably want to wrestle somebody. That's an unreal athlete. We were talking about Zane and Blake before with their skill level and the style that they wrestle. Dante is just
Next level.
yeah. And being so young and being able to get in there with somebody like that, you're just like, okay, like in a couple of years, like this guy, once everything clicks, maybe in a couple of years is exaggerating it might be faster than that because of where he's already at. He's going to be just one of the most talked about people in the world. So it was cool to get in there early. And again, it's so weird sometimes, like forgetting that I've been wrestling for as long as I have now. People have all of these stories about me, and they're just like, oh, hey, I used to watch you do wrestling at this show. Because like a lot of the guys now are like 23, 24, so I have 5 years on them. And for them to just be like, yeah, man, I used to study your matches, and like when I was in high school, and I'm like, you motherfucker. But I mean, overall, like I said, the experiences with AEW are always great. Everybody treats me like family. Like, yeah, I don't know. It feels natural for me. So as often as I want to go back, they'll have me back, and I'll be there as often as I can.
But you didn't talk about the donut. Like, come on, like
donut.
these
So
donuts.
again, on the vacation, I saved I saved my cheat meals for that whole, like, that week we were there. I was like, I'm gonna fucking eat everything. Like, I'm very hard on myself. I've been trying to transform my body for the last couple of months into what I want it to be, as opposed to what everybody else wanted it to be for all these years. I'm finally just doing what I want. And obviously, Voodoo Donuts is very popular. It's world famous. So I said, you know what? After AEW, if my match goes well, I'm going to go to the Universal, like, boardwalk there, and I'm gonna fucking eat everything. Everything. I'm stopping at every stand, every store, and I'm eating something. And I went to the donut place, and maybe my eyes might have been bigger than my stomach, because I just grabbed the box. I was like, give me that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. OG's gonna eat that one. Like, and I remember stopping in front of, I don't even remember what the hell it was called, some big ass tower. And I was like, yo, I can't carry this box no more. I got to eat them. And I just ate them all right there. Just housed them. All right, now we're going to go to the chocolate factory.
I told you it was gonna be a fun podcast. Like, we have to, like, talk about this donut that, like, I saw in your pictures.
Man.
So,
Everyone.
but you had a good vacation, right? Like, you deserved it. It was
did.
like your birthday vacation. So
It was very, very refreshing for my life.
yeah,
In every aspect, just to get away and no troubles, like, no nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy the wrestling was involved, because it put me around the people that I love being around.
Yeah.
And after the shows, we went out and had a great time. And I love it because it's like, I'm friends with everybody.
yeah,
Like, doesn't matter what company you work for. I don't fucking give a shit. I don't care who gets in trouble. Fuck it. I want everybody to get along. So it was cool to mix everybody together for our little after parties and go out and get some food and everything.
Yeah.
Watch everybody drink while I sip on water, because I'm a little bitch.
Oh, jeez. Let me give more love in this chat. Sky said she's making a lot of notes. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Prince is saying Dante's a beast. So Sky said Dante, Alex Zane, Blake Christian, Eddie Kingston are a few which I study. Wait, I saw there was a question. Okay, Mark said
Kingston is the best.
He is. He's
The
so-
best.
He is.
That's it.
Oh,
It's
man.
I gotta say it. I'm not one for, like, the Twitter, I guess, the verbal blowjobs. Like, Kingston's the best. That's it.
Yeah, so good. I was just talking about how, like, I used to see him in the old, like, ICW days, like when Jack Ballard owned it. Like, oh man, I love those.
Like Queen's Elks Lodge and stuff.
Yes. And then when he moved a little bit to Astoria, like, that's where, like, I see, like, a lot of these names that are in, like, AEW now, which is so great. So that should, like, help out Sky a little bit into the chat too. Mark said, I'm late, so sorry. He goes, I've spoken about this, but what's some of the things you've learned the most from teaming with someone like Chris Hero?
How to shut my mouth. No, I think I had gotten rid of that problem before Chris, which is probably why he took a liking to me, is I had already become very respectful at that point. Again, I didn't come from being a wrestling fan or the wrestling world. I didn't know anybody in wrestling. Like, I grinded my way in, and they tried to literally beat me out of wrestling, and they couldn't get rid of me because I just love it so much. And for me, I'm the type of person where when I'm bad at something, I'm going to practice and practice and practice and practice and do it and reps and reps and reps until I'm fucking perfect at it. Like, if somebody walked in my house right now and was like, we're going to have a 40-minute match on the fly, like, I'm fucking ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, that's how prepared I want to be. I could never even meet that person, and we're gonna fight it out. But with Chris, I think one of the most important things that I learned was pacing myself. Like, the elements and depths that you can reach in a match, where it doesn't have to just be move, bunch of shit. There's so much more to wrestling. And at that time, that style of wrestling was very popular, where it's just like, all right, bell rings, we're going to just run a bunch, do a bunch of kip-ups and duck this and flip this and that, and then I'm going to fucking clothesline you. I'm going to beat the shit out of you for like 35 seconds, and then we're just going to do a bunch of stuff, falls, finish, bam, fireworks. And, like, when you watch that as a fan, it's cool.
Right.
But when you watch those matches, sit there when it's done and just really think about the one thing that stands out to you, and your brain's going to go, shit, the end? What was the point of all the stuff before it then? Where was the purpose? Nothing did anything to elevate it if all you remember was the end. Chris helped me develop stories and substance to my wrestling, and everything having a purpose, and being able to take different things and move them around, and like take sequences and segments from one match and bring them to another match, but like with a different opponent, elevate them to another level, add little details in there, which is all stuff like you're not going to learn that at any particular school. That's like, I think I said it earlier, like you have to wrestle the best to be the best. And getting in there with Chris, like one thing that he didn't do, he never took it easy on me. Like every match, every conversation, still to this day, every match that he watches of mine, every conversation we have, I feel like I'm on the clock. Like I feel like I'm constantly being tested. Like, and like I can't have the wrong answer. I respect that man so much that I'm always on game in preparation for him just popping up with a question or a match, or bumping into him and having a conversation where I have to say the right things, or what do we do? So the PWG we did, our first match was against Ricochet and Matt Sydal, and those are guys, like, again, their style, I mesh with it. And when they gave us our allotted time, they were like, all right, you're going to go this long. And everybody kind of giggled, and I was kind of like, what? We're going to go over that? And then they just put their hand on my shoulder like, yeah, don't worry about it. And so, I mean, maybe I'll get in trouble, whatever. 18 minutes or something like that was what we were supposed to do. I think we wrestled for like 41 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was like 106 degrees in that building. So that was a very big, like, shock for me. It was so hot, it's so congested, it's so packed up in there, and that's a place where, and against people where you have to be perfect. You can't make a mistake, you can't fucking do anything wrong. And if you watch the match, I think High Spots or whatever streams them, there's a sequence in the beginning where I get in there with Ricochet and he does a back handspring, and I mistimed how perfect he was going to be, and his placement where I could catch his feet around my head, and his fucking toe hits me right in my eye, and I go blind in my eye, like 100% couldn't see. My eye is like tearing. I just see like a cloud of whatever, and then I have perfect vision in this eye. So then I wrestle 40 minutes with one eyeball.
Oh my God.
Just like literally my debut. I'm like, whoa, I fucking made it. I'm going to up my booking fee. I'm here. Yes, let's go. Take my picture in front of the banner. Let's do it. 8x10. And fucking 35 seconds into the match, I'm one eyeball down. Like, of all the things that could possibly happen, I lose vision. Like, vision. So thankfully, I was prepared for it. Like, Chris prepared me for that moment. All the tag matches we had before, the synchronization, perfecting everything, not doing anything we weren't comfortable with, made it so that way when it became time to do the match and have these moments, I could be perfect with him. I could be perfect for the other guys across the ring, and I could be perfect for the audience and give them the match that they deserve to see. So I guess a very long-winded answer here. He just taught me how to really trust in everybody else and pace my matches and be able to really just give the audience what they deserve, whether it's 41 minutes, whether they need 10 minutes. Like, he taught me the difference, because before I would have just did like 41 minutes of running around.
Wow. That's amazing. Amazing. So let's talk, because I love doing this on this podcast, because you never know what happens on this podcast, right? We have a lot of new up and coming talent. I know we talked about Dante for a little bit. But again, it's mind blowing to me. The kids are getting younger and younger and younger. It's scary. So has there been anybody that sticks out to you personally that you haven't wrestled yet that you would love to get into the ring with?
You might have stumped me here.
Oh, yes. That's what we do on this one. There's got to be like a whole bunch, because I'll throw freaking names at you.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably be able to provide me with more names than I could right now. Again, on the spot, I'm going to go blank. One of the things that I've done in like the last year, of like the past year, I should say, I don't make these list things anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't even allow my mental to do that, because then I'm setting expectations, and if I don't meet them, mm-hmm. Which doesn't happen too often, But again, when I was in the pandemic part locked up, there was all of these lists that I have written down because I actually write them down in my notebooks, and I had all the time to go reread them. And there was so many things that were crossed off that I completed, but then there were the ones that I didn't complete, and those things fucking haunted me. Like, so a lot of the random matches that I've had in the last year have simply been to cross those things off of my list and to do specific things. So I don't really have anything in mind. I'm very, very much letting things just come to me.
Yeah.
If that person is talented, there's no way I'm not going to see them. I'm not going to find them. We're going to wrestle, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But you could, by all means, you can name people
well,
right now.
I'm gonna off the bat. Anybody that listens to this podcast knows probably where I'm gonna go, but I'm probably gonna like throw them off because they're gonna probably think one name in my brain, but I'm not gonna go with that name. I'm actually gonna go with Nick Wayne, the 16-year-old that's third generation wrestler who, like, he's coming on this podcast next week. So, you know, guys, get your questions ready for next week. This kid is incredible. Like, my God. Like, I don't, like, he came out of, like, nowhere, and, like, he's wrecking with a vengeance lately. So, I mean, I'm going to talk to him about this next week on the podcast, so I'm really looking forward to it. But he's incredible. Like, I would just love it. And anybody that knows anybody on the H12 roster, those kids, I love them to death. Marcus Matters, you know, all those kids over there, they're really good. I would love to see that. Because I'm always constantly talking about that with them, that I would love to see them outside of H2O wrestling. And Marcus Matters obviously is one that's getting around. He just had a great match with Anthony Green this past weekend. But I love to see, like, you know, gotta wrestle the best. So like, let's make this happen. Maybe
now that you put it on the air, now it's gonna happen.
Yes.
So don't be surprised, everybody watching, when in the next few months that match happens.
Yeah, I'm with it.
There's a few, I guess, that maybe they're not so young anymore. They're definitely a little bit more tenured. But matches, I think, that I'm surprised haven't happened yet for me. I've never wrestled Chris Bay, like one-on-one.
Oh, my God, yes.
Which is weird, because that's normally something that would have happened. This is one guy who's been ducking me for a while. His name's Myron Reed.
I'm with it.
My little bro.
I'm with
My
it.
little brother right there. He'd been ducking me. Those two pop in my brain. I love to smack the shit out of Danny Limelight again, so I can get him to stop posting all these thirst traps on Twitter and shit.
Seriously. People are yelling names in the chat. Sky said, not necessarily one of the youngest people. I would love to see JT take on Daniel Garcia if that hasn't happened already.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yes. That's never happened.
I can't believe this has never happened.
So, fun fact, and I was saving this for promo package material or whatever, but since he's probably never going to wrestle me because he's super famous now, when I first met Daniel, he used to carry my bags and sell my merch in Buffalo for me next to a beef jerky stand while I went to go wrestle the Blade, Pepper Parks.
Yeah.
And I remember standing there, and he was just like, and I joke, I kid. I love Daniel. Since literally since the moment I saw him, he came up to me and he was just like, "Hey JT, I want to start training here." He might have even been like 3 weeks in. Can you give me any advice? And I remember talking to him for an extended period of time, and then I would tell him like, "Hey man, follow me on Twitter if you don't already, so that way I can follow you back, and just DM me, give me progress. Tell me every time something happens with you, hit me up." And weirdly enough, I had just contacted him for something recently, so I went back and I scrolled, and I was looking at the messages, and I didn't even remember we had so many conversations over the course of a couple of years. But every single thing that he did, he messaged me about. "Hey, I just did this in training. Hey, I'm about to have this match. Hey, I went to go to this seminar you told me about. Hey, I wrestled this guy you told me about." So if there's anybody out there who doubts, I don't think you should, because he's one of the best in the world right now. But if you ever doubted his passion or his love for pro wrestling, or the I think it's an art form, the art of getting better, don't ever doubt Red Death. That dude is the truth. And one of these days, we're going to be in the same ring, and we're going to be able to do what we love to do together. And then I'm going to knock him out with death by elbow. But I mean, that's just fate.
I'm with it. Like, oh my God, I was like so excited to finally see him live.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Hey, but Davey Richards.
Ooh. Yes.
Bro, Stop fucking ducking me, bro.
Oh
What are
my
we waiting
God.
for?
The
Huh?
possibilities.
You're probably better than ever. I'm better than ever. I see you everywhere. We're in the same locker room, sitting there, sipping on waters together. Let's fight. Let's
Ooh,
fight, bro.
I love it. I love it. The
Bring Eddie.
possibilities
I'll
are
slap the shit out of him too.
the possibilities are endless. More love in the chat. Princess says, I'll toss Calvin Takeman out there. He also said
Okay.
Billy Starks.
Okay.
I
I
love
actually just recently met Billy at a Revolver show.
she's so great. She's so great. I love her. Mark Leslie said, I'll toss out my usual Brandon Kirk.
Oh shit.
Lots of names. I mean, David Russell agrees with me with Marcus Matters. I love wrestling. That's where I'm just pretty much gonna go with that. So, all right, let's do a fun tweak because I'm really
Okay.
a fun question because this one I was really excited for.
Like fun.
We've been talking about this on the Indie Wrestling Corner for a while. I want to talk positivity in wrestling. All right, everybody, I love it. I love it. I love it. We get so much negative. I
That
focus.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, on this podcast it does. Okay. All right. So I love it. I love the stories. You never know what you're going to get out of my guests that come onto this podcast. So, is there anything that like sticks out to you, whether it was something that maybe you did for a fan, maybe something you did for a wrestler, maybe something like a fan's done for you, maybe a wrestler's done for you, anything that sticks out that it's like that you would love to share that we wouldn't normally like hear?
Oh man. It's like a million things just popped in my brain.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell a story about me because that just seems like self-loathing. I feel like at the end of whenever wrestling is for me, that's when I think I'll be appreciated for the things that I do actually do in wrestling for people. I don't ever want the credit. I don't need it. I sleep just fine right here in my pillows every night. But I think overall for me, I remember doing this promo maybe like 5 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer. Where I'm just like, hey, I'm going to throw New England on my back and I'm going to carry it into like the next generation and I'm going to create the next stars, like no matter what it takes. So I feel proud now at this point, having like done so. A lot of the talent that has come from New England, I've had my hands in working with exponentially. I just feel like I have this gift, this eye, and again, I wasn't like born with it. All the guys that have helped mentor me have shown me the things to look for, and a lot of them are just like, hey, this is what we see in you, this is what we see in this guy. So I go and look around and try to find that stuff. So for me, I get probably more satisfaction out of watching people that I work with or give advice to go use that stuff in the ring and be successful off of it. If you see me ever like put myself in an extended program with somebody, which like I have to agree to that for it to happen, just so everybody knows, that's because I like that person and I think that they're going to be $1 million wrestler. I mean, probably right now the one who's paying off more than anybody is my man Carmelo Hayes. Goddamn rock star, superstar. But it's like, if they could just pull a truck of money to his house and dump it on the front lawn, that's what they should do right now. He's just the best. So for whatever it's worth, I love my man Melo. He don't miss. Hopefully he continues to go on to be the champion of the world and WrestleMania and the Royal Rumbles and all the cool things that we've talked about in locker rooms. I hope all of that happens for him. But that's a guy who, when a lot of other people who won't be named gave up on him, I didn't. And I was just like, nah, I think we're going to have to reevaluate this situation real fast, and we're going to have to give him another try. And if he ever messes up, you can fire me, because this kid is going to be amazing. And, well, here we are 4 years later, and
Yeah.
sit here for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm trying to think of, like, I mean, aside from the obvious answers in helping me, like the OG, Dave Cole, Hero, those are guys that I think you've heard in a lot of my interviews or anything like that. I think there's one guy who's helped me a lot that I probably don't give enough credit to. I mention him here and there. Paul London. So it's so weird that somebody who I would watch on TV would become a fan of me, that just sounds silly. Like sitting here, I'm just like, dude, I used to fucking stay up every night and watch you race your little ass on the ring, slide it into a moonsault, and do these crazy things with Brian all the time. But life brought us together in a very, very weird way. And I have gotten so many opportunities and been able to absorb so much knowledge and also be put in contact with so many other people because of Paul. When they talk about somebody who just loves, like, I think that's maybe his downfall in life, is he just loves so hard and so much. And if he feels passionate about something, he just, everything he possibly could throw your way to help you, he will. And since I met him in 2015, I believe, he has helped me so much, whether it's 4-hour phone calls talking about wrestling, life, and his perspective on life. If you've never watched anything Paul London, please YouTube him. His perspective on life is very, very interesting. It's different in the best of ways. He has given me so much information. Obviously, he's been to where everybody wants to go and been successful at it. He's wrestled all of the best wrestlers that wrestling has ever had to offer and been successful at it. So obviously what he's saying carries weight. But man, shout out to Paul London. I love you, man. I guess thank you for everything you've ever done for me and helping me become the person that I am today, because this representation of JT Dunn is 50% Paul London. The way I perceive my life, the way I value myself now, and I feel like I might have even tweeted it out today, where it's just like, bet on yourself. Just bet on you. Like, whether you don't see it yet, bet on yourself. Don't ever, ever, ever let anybody else in wrestling, in life, determine your value, determine your worth. This could be as simple as what they think you're capable of achieving, or even down to the minuscule money argument over your booking fee. You know what you're worth. I mean, don't be greedy. Don't be selfish. Really be in touch with yourself. Be in tune with who you are and what you bring to the table. And when you learn the business sense over the years, you really start to determine your value. Don't ever let anybody degrade you. Don't let anybody disrespect you. I might have even tweeted that out recently. Like, this year, no more disrespect. And that means taking advantage of somebody. Like, I think, now I'm definitely getting off track here, but hopefully this helps somebody watching.
Yeah.
Don't ever let a promoter or a booker determine, like, if you're going to eat. Like, don't ever let that happen. You are valuable. The show doesn't happen without the pro wrestlers, and I think a lot of people forget that aspect. And there's like a respect, and respect goes through communication. If we're unable to communicate with each other, we've already lost in the battle of being pro wrestler and promoter or booker, and that's going to make the battle for pay, the battle for equality in the locker room, equality on the card, that goes with like divvying up opponents and everything like that. It's going to make it very, very difficult. And again, I can reiterate, don't be selfish. Very much know and be in touch with what your value truly is. But don't ever let anybody disrespect you. And for this year, if you've disrespected me, consider yourself lucky. That's it. You're going to be the last person to have done it if you think that you are that person. Because going forward, I know my value. I know my worth. Wrestling and some of these shows, man, like, I think promoters get lost in the sauce, as the phrase is now these days. Like, you kind of forget that if you just sell tickets and the promoter just sat in the ring the entire show, that's not as good as if the wrestlers showed up and wrestled each other. Am I right or am I wrong?
Right. No, you're right.
Stop disrespecting us. God damn it. Stop disrespecting us. I see it every day. Like, I try to avoid, like, I have this this thing on my phone where it keeps track of how many minutes I'm on Instagram, how many minutes I'm on Twitter and Facebook, and I try to keep all of them under 30 minutes a day, because like anything above that is just mind-numbing nonsense. It's just everybody fighting with everybody, just bickering that doesn't need to happen on a public forum. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that we need that to be successful these days, where the wrestling just can't do the talking for you. Word to the wise, avoid that bullshit. Just, we were talking about being able to give advice, right? That was the beginning of it. Avoid the bullshit. Just wrestle. Just show up, do your job, go home. That's it. That's probably the best advice I can give somebody these days, because once you get caught up in all the other stuff, then there's a story to tell.
Yeah.
And no need for it.
Sky, how long is your notes? I want to know. I love
Getting a
her.
free seminar
I
here.
can't wait because she's actually coming to the States next month. So I'm really
Fantastic.
I'm really excited for her to come and finally like meet her, and she's coming over to H2O and all that. So I'm really excited for that. So she said thank you that she needed that. Conrad, Everything Pro Wrestling, shout out to you. Go give him some love, guys, if you're not subscribed to him as well. He said, JT Dunn, are you in the Wrestling Code video game?
I'm gonna say probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe I don't know. I get tagged in all these video game things. I don't know what's. I don't play anything wrestling at all. No wrestling video games. No wrestling phone games. No nothing like that.
Okay.
So I would have no idea. Somebody asked me to come to dress up in the little dot costume, whatever the fuck it's called, and do a bunch of moves. No, thank you. Mocap.
And
no, thank you.
Sky said she's on 5 pages, just so you know.
Wow. I'm impressed.
I love it.
And again, I know I rant sometimes. That's just who I am as a person.
No,
but in between the stuff, there's stuff there that means something.
You're great.
I hope.
I knew that she was gonna benefit off this interview big time, so I'm glad that she's in here. Let me see. Let's do a fun fan tweet. So, all right. So this one was pretty funny. I bust out laughing, and he actually apologized for it too. So it's just a fun question because he loves doing anagrams on my podcast to everybody. He stumps everybody on this podcast. Everybody gets a special one. So pretty much his was is from shout out to Good Cop Bad Cop. He goes, "How long do you see yourself wrestling? When will you be done with wrestling?"
Oh,
he said he was sorry. So you know.
Honestly, I guess we kind of touched on it before. I'll be done when I feel I'm no longer having fun and I can't push anybody forward anymore. Because even if I'm done having fun for myself in the ring, I still get a lot of enjoyment helping other people. If I don't have that, either one of those lanes anymore, I have no purpose. Because it's either I'm moving forward or I'm moving people forward. So it's like, right now I'm in that point in my career where I'm balancing my own buzz and popularity and growth, and I also have like 58 people that I'm nurturing to turn into like the next crop of like best wrestlers. So once that's not a thing, I guess then I'll be done.
I love it. All right, fun question. Give me, because you never know what you're gonna get out of this podcast, give me one of your fun road trip stories. Can you top some of the stuff that's been on this podcast? That's I throw him on the spot.
Oh man.
He's like, I'm gonna get someone in trouble, someone's gonna get mad at me.
I'm trying to think of who won't lose their contract if I tell stories right. So for me, it's different. I live sobriety, so
Yeah.
like, I don't have anything. I don't do nothing crazy no more. I learned my lesson.
It could be a fun like coffee story or something. Like I know you go to Sheets, like you know, like
Okay, I mean that Sheets picture led to an absolutely crazy fucking bananas night in the most weirdest town in Pennsylvania ever. But before the craziness, we did drive like an hour out of our way to go to that Sheets. I feel like it was the OG who had never been to Sheets before. So we were down obviously in the area for PPW. I believe I was wrestling Buddy Murphy the next day, or Casey Navarro. No, it was Buddy. It was definitely Buddy. So we talked about going to Sheets. Sheets is obviously, I put it over on Twitter all the time. They send me merch all the time. I got a love relationship with them. Shout out Sheets. I got a new address, so holla at me. I need some more swag. My bag ripped, so I need some new bag, a new shirt. They can send me a whole bunch of shit. I actually have a whole drawer right here of Sheet stuff. So we had to take OG to Sheets, and this dude went in there and blew like $50.
oh wow.
Just like, I'll take one of these, I'll take one of these, I'll take one of these, all these snacks that he's never seen before. And then we went back to our hotel, which had which was like set up for us. And then when we got there, like the fucking ceiling was leaking water. There was like prostitutes everywhere and crackheads. So it was just like pro wrestling, brother.
Oh my god.
I'm not even exaggerating.
I haven't.
It was rough.
Oh.
It was definitely rough. I'm trying to remember the damn name of the town. It's just slipping my brain.
No, it's better.
We joke with each other about it very frequently. But Danny was with me, and then another wrestler.
That's funny. I need to try Sheets. The whole joke here is Wawa and Checkpoint. Quick Check.
Ugh.
And
Wawa's not even in the same league.
listen, I'm in New York. I don't even get that. It's like a privilege when I go over to Jersey to go watch wrestling, get some Wawa
In Rhode
hazelnut
Island,
coffee.
I have Dunkin' Donuts.
I need to take a road trip.
I can go left. There's 12 Dunkin' Donuts. I can go right. There's 12 Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep.
That's it.
This is like a shitload of Starbucks here in New York. Just how it is. So I mean, I hope you come down again soon. Like, I got
I'll
to
be down there soon.
Yeah, like I know like a lot of fans miss you over here in the New York area.
Oh,
So we'll get you. Yeah, I'll see you again soon, hopefully. All right, let's see. I think I got like 2 more questions. If you guys got any other questions, drop them in the chat. Man, you've worked. I mean, again, this last year, like you've worked a lot of names. Like Leo Rush. I mean, even with Chaotic Wrestling, like T.J. Crawford. I hope he gets better soon because like I miss his ass in the ring. Like there isn't a day that I don't think about him. So get well better. TJ, Christian Casanova. I mean, you've wrestled MSP. I mean, like you've had a year. Like, anything that like sticks out to you that you like to share with like just some of like in 2021.
As in what?
Wrestling wise.
Enjoyed wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that match with Leo was really, really cool. The whole thing returning to XWA. And I think, I don't know, man, that was a cool story because that didn't happen until like literally 48 hours before the show. I was out and about and conversation came up, and I hadn't been to XWA in maybe like 2 years or so. And they have their Thursday show, and then I believe the match with Leo was on a Saturday. And then I got in contact with Mike from XWA, who's the owner, and we met for dinner. We talked about a situation that had happened with one of the roster members not being able to make it, and we just had a conversation about me coming back. And literally the next day, nobody knew I was coming, and I just showed up to their Thursday night show and challenged Leo. And at this point, I was still like unsure if I wanted to be a wrestler still. I wasn't in the best shape at all. I was still holding on to my COVID weight, all my my pizza and donuts and all that crap. And I was very nervous, like, because Leo's like amazing. Yeah. And I was like, damn. And again, Leo's another one of them guys where, like, when he first started wrestling and we met each other, it was that, oh, hey, man, I used to watch your shit. And I'm just like, oh, my God. So I know these people that are like that, they have this image of me in their brain. Like, they have these certain matches they remember me doing, whether it's teaming with Chris, like PWG shit, Evolve shit, whatever the hell it was, Limitless Beyond, like all that stuff. They have that image in their brain. And I always say, when people say nice things about me to my face, it makes me very, very uncomfortable, especially if I have to wrestle them, because then I have to be that person. I have to be great, because I can't ruin that image they have of me. I can't go out here and have a bad match, because then they're going to be like, oh, shit, this guy fucking sucks. Why the hell did I spend years being a fan of him? So I kind of had one of those moments before I walked out in the ring. And then again, once I got in the ring with Leo, it just clicked, and him and I picked right back up where we left off. And that match was a banger. I'm pretty sure I released it for free on my own YouTube channel. So go check it out. Me and Leo from the beginning of last year, it was awesome. And we pushed the limit. We really, like, our bodies were kind of still adjusting back in the ring, him getting back in there, actually doing a lot more wrestling on the indies again, and then me just being back to wrestling. And we pushed the limit. Pretty sure we went like 20 minutes or so, and we did some stuff, and we had some fun, and it was a great like environment, perfect situation for me to get my feet wet and just like feel like JT Dunn again. And I'm sure after having talked to him, I know it was great for him. And then I think the next day he showed up for AEW's Casino Battle Royal or whatever the name is. So he was just on a roll. So it was cool to be a part of that with him. And like when you have a badass match with somebody like that, you motivate each other, and that just like that bond just grows stronger. So I think that's what 2021 was for me. A lot of people that I was probably familiar with, friends with, maybe not as close as I am now with them, but those matches brought us all closer. The Crawfords, the MSPs, the Davies, like all that stuff. Like there's just a certain thing you can't explain that just happens in the ring. Like you don't know why you just became best friends, but you just became best friends. Like it just happens naturally. You take care of each other. It's trust. Like anything could go wrong at any moment, and I'm thankful that nothing ever goes wrong. And I take care of everybody. They take care of me. Trying to think of like, I know there's always that one person that I'm overlooking, and I probably haven't said their name at all, and they're probably watching this like, this motherfucker, he wrestled me 9 times. I'm sorry, man. I'll probably think of it afterwards. I'll just tweet it out. I'll just literally write your name out.
It's hard doing a podcast, like, you know, like there's so many people.
I wrestled so many matches last year. It was awesome. I really liked wrestling Lee Moriarty. That was really cool for me. And I remember saying that they'll have it at Limitless. They released that for free on their channel. I remember saying to him beforehand, like, hey, man, I'm so happy that you're like a wrestler. And I think everybody pigeonholes me to a specific style of wrestling because they're like, oh, this is Death by Elbow guy. He's going to do a bunch of strikes. Like, hey, man, I'm also one of the best grapplers in the world. Let me do that. Like, stop trying to force my hand to do what I don't want to do. And I think I went on this like stint, maybe like 2016 into 17, where I was just wrestling grapplers, the Greshams, the Zack Sabre Juniors. Like we were just fucking wrestling, having wrestling matches. That's what you're going to see more of me doing this year, especially now that I'm like back. I'm like, wrestling is my everything. It's going to be a lot of just things that I want to do. And I never, because I'm JT Dunn, I never throw my weight around. Like, this weight's getting thrown around. Like, I'm going to do what the fuck I want. I'm going to have fun. The unit's going to have fun. And we're just going to keep having bangers. Like, that's it. I think I even said that to, like, one of my group chats. Like, that's it, bro. 2022 is bangers only. That's it. I'm not nothing that's mediocre. So if you want to wrestle me, if we have plans to wrestle, expect me to fucking, we're going in. Whatever, however you rationalize that in your brain, we are going in. When you see my name for the rest of your life, understand that you're going to click that link because that match is a fucking banger. Can we drop an announcement here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Speaking of fucking bangers, let's drop a banger right now. We talk about Chaotic Wrestling. I'm the owner. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So it makes me special. That's why I beat Chase Del Monte. Of all the guys that I've beaten Chaotic, Chase was the only guy I never beat. And it's poetic that when I finally beat him, I take his damn company away from him. So we're going to do something right now. I announced that I'm going to wrestle on the next show, January 14th. The unit presents Chaotic Pandemonium. It's going to happen in Watertown, Massachusetts. We've announced matches already, like Becca versus Aaron Rourke, for the Panoptic title. Ricky Smokes versus Mortar for the New England Championship. We're going to have the Heavyweight Championship on the line. Davian's going to defend the Pandemonium match, which is a Chaotic specialty, which I've won before. She's going to wrestle Shannon Levangie, Brad Cashew, and if we're talking about people to watch out for, especially from this area, Brad, Smokes, Mortar, those are going to be guys that you're going to want to pay attention to. We put Ace Romero in the match. Mike Vern is in the match. We're going to have some fun. And the winner of the match is going to be the Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. So, I'm pretty sure we sent you what you needed, right?
Yeah.
You tell me when it's up.
It's up right now.
What do we think about that?
I want to come and see this.
What do we think about that?
I want to come just for this.
So we're going to do, and I'm pretty sure I forgot Alec Price's name in Pandemonium, but he's also having a chance to win the title in that match. But to the graphic that y'all probably see right now, JT Dunn, Danny Miles, for the first time ever, I'm going to wrestle the main event. I put out a tweet. I said, I want to fight the best tag team. That's it, the best. I want to fight somebody who just thinks that they're hot shit right now. There were so many teams that either tweeted themselves at me, DM me, their fan base tweeted at me. Like, my phone during this interview has still been going off of people listing teams. Well, unfortunately, the race is over. Everybody lost except for the main event. Now, I've known these boys for quite some time. New York, New Jersey area is very special to me. Outside of New England, I needed to cut my teeth there, and for some reason, which I don't understand, so maybe you can explain it to me. I don't know why New York and New Jersey love me so much.
Because you're amazing.
I don't get it.
Coming from
Since
the New
my
Yorker.
debut there, it doesn't matter what I do. I could be the meanest. Like, I punched Tommy Dreamer in the dick in front of fucking 3,000 people, and they were like, JT Dunn, JT Dunn. I don't get it. I love it. But House of Glory has always been very special to me. Shout out to House of Glory. They're back. They're running bangers. Amazing Red, Will Ospreay.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff. Shout out to my man Ken Broadway, The Truth. My man.
Yeah.
But I remember meeting Main Event and also guys that were very respectful to me.
Yeah.
And I said to them, hey, we're going to, one day, we're going to get in here and we're going to do all of those things that you've seen me do with other people that you enjoyed. It's going to happen. Well, now it's going to fucking happen January 14th. They're going to get the best, worst day of their life. They're going to get in the ring with JT Dunn. And they're going to get their ass kicked by JT Dunn. Because it's for the Chaotic Wrestling Tag Team Championships. Well, the current champions, the Unit. Yeah, girl.
I popped when he sent me this. Like, I was like,
that's breaking news. Chaotic, their social media didn't even put it out yet.
yeah. So thank
They have
you.
no clue.
Thank you for dropping
I had that graphic made on the low.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing
Exclusive.
that
We
with
gotta
us.
start the year off right.
Yes.
You wanted me to be the first one here for you, so I need to do something for you.
Thank you.
Let's announce this. Bam, there it is.
I love it.
Drop it live.
I was really excited. Like, I got to get Main Event on. I know that they said that they're going to come onto the podcast one of these days. We're going to make it happen. I love those guys. I've been fans of them for years. Like, they know, like, huge fan. Yes, like, I've seen them, House of Glory, Full Faith Wrestling, Pizza Party Pro. Like, no, like, I'm real deal with those boys. So I popped. Like, literally, I screamed in my house because I was like, yes! I was like, so if I'm telling you this right now, if I'm better by next week, I'm going to take the drive up to Massachusetts. So I better get fucking better because, you know, I don't have COVID, guys. Don't worry. I'm just got a bad cold. So, but yeah. So if I'm better by next week, I'm taking this road trip up to Massachusetts. So I promise you that.
Yeah.
So
And we were talking about the 14th, that same weekend. The 16th, you're going to catch me in Clive, Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, in the same area. One-on-one with Rich Swann for the Revolver Championship. Stacked card. Absolutely crazy. I'm pretty sure you have the graphic for that.
I have them
It's
up.
bananas. I love being a part of shows like that. The last show was just like electric. I believe they're streaming live on Fight TV. So obviously, if we're not hopping on a plane going to Iowa, you can watch from the comfort of your own home. But man, Unit running wild over there as well. And then for myself, the following week, another announcement that I think it might have dropped earlier, changing the schedule. January 21st, I'll be wrestling for Northeast Wrestling in Waterbury, Connecticut. And now January 22nd, I'll be wrestling for Northeast Wrestling in the Mid-Hudson Civic Center against Dan Moff for the NEW World Championship.
Man.
So it's going to be busy for me. I'm
Yeah.
very excited. I love being able to wrestle back in the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. Everybody knows my favorite wrestler of all time is the Macho Man Randy Savage. That's where that man debuted in wrestling, was in the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. Crazy story. I've had some great matches there. One of my all-time favorite matches, and I think we talked about this match the last time you had me on, was myself versus Matt Taven for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Was in that building in front of a couple thousand people, and even still to this day, I love that match. I go back, and every time I need to get like fall in love with my own wrestling. I watched that match. So shout out to Taven, who's back killing it in the wrestling world. Hopefully him and I get to get in the ring soon and see if we can top that match from Poughkeepsie. But man, that match was great, and I'm very, very excited to slap the shit out of Dan Moff again.
Oh man, so excited! I know. Again, like Sky's in chat. She's writing down all these matches that she's gonna go rewatch. I know how she is. So you got a new fan for life over there.
Awesome.
Just so you know, it's just so exciting. It was funny because that was gonna be like my last question. I was gonna ask about what are we gonna see in 2022? Like better version of yourself in 2022. So
yeah, everything's better.
Yeah, I love it.
Mind, body, and spirit.
I love it. It's so great. I love chatting with you. You're amazing. I mean, we've been going on for like an hour and 40 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. This is why he comes on because he likes me. So it's like, and we just chat.
I have to do a podcast for another 5 years. It's all right here.
He drops everything. Like I love it. I love it. I mean, is there anything else? Like again, like I had all my questions. I don't know if anybody else in the chat has anything else. I mean, is there anything that like you want to share that we didn't touch base on this podcast?
I am up again and running the website shopjtdunn.com. All JT Dunn merch is exclusive to there. And we did also just drop some brand new unit designs.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
The unit logo, the brand new Take the Pledge shirt. They're pretty fucking sweet. Shout out to my man Richard Fonseca for being able to get those designs done for me. We dropped them. I think there's like all kinds of things. There's shirts. We got backpacks. There's shorts on there. Wall tapestries. Like literally anything you can imagine is on there. More designs to come. I have a few more designs in the works, but it's all going to be exclusive to shopjtdunn.com. We have a discount code right now. New year. It's still active. You get 22% off your purchase at checkout. So go ahead, grab yourself a nice unit shirt. Take the pledge. Join us over here on the dark side. It's nice over here. We got cookies and monsters and free dental. It's great.
That's gonna be the next thing. Is he's gonna tell me to like bring my cookies since I bring them over to H2O and
if you bring your cookies, I'm gonna have to retire from this.
I get in trouble now. Like, forget it. Like, I did the cookie fest going on recently, and I came in with, I had to do 2 trays. I had to do for night 1 at H2O. I had to do night 2 because people didn't show up on night 1 that was on night 2. And then they were literally, the kids were like, is there more, Tiffany? I'm like, no, you guys are freaking savages. I was like, you ate all the fucking cookies. Like, there was probably like 300 cookies in there, and like, you savages. Like, so, I guess that's what I have to do when I come up to the chaotic.
Hey, somebody's got to eat the cookies, right?
I love it.
Somebody's got to do it.
I love it. I love it so much. So I guess that's going to wrap up our interview today. We'll have him come back in like, a year or 2.
You guys in 2023, I guess.
No, I love you so much. I mean, thank you for coming on, like chatting with all of us again. Like you're amazing.
I'm happy people had questions. Hopefully, my rambling gave you a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Whether you're in wrestling, you need a different perspective, maybe a little bit more behind the scenes interactions and stuff like that. Please check out Chaotic Wrestling. We are changing the game here in New England. Northeast Wrestling, like we're doing big things going forward. In the unit, my brothers, Danny Miles, Trigger Man, the OG, Mike Verna, Ace Romero, Dango, Larry D, Infrared out in the Midwest. Great tag team. Man, show them love because it's not just me. But like I feel like a lot of the, obviously it's me. It's my fucking face right here. It seems like it's me. All of this doesn't happen without my brothers. It doesn't happen without them. It doesn't happen without them supporting me. It doesn't happen without them being dedicated to the same the cause. Like in the core group here, like I said, Danny, AC, OG, and Verna. Like without those guys here for me literally every single day, I bother them with ideas and content and all this other bullshit you need for wrestling. They keep me level-headed. So I want to shout out to my brothers. We're on to bigger and better things going forward. And I think I put it on maybe Instagram. I promise these guys, the world is ours if we did it together. As long as we just keep faith with each other, there's nothing we can't do. We've all collectively been told, no, maybe later, maybe next show, maybe another time. It's this guy's time right now. And I'm sure if you're a wrestler watching this, you've heard the same thing. Or if you're a fan of wrestling and watching this, you've heard somebody else say the same thing. that can get very, very, very dark and put you in a deep hole. And I'm very happy that I was able to crawl out of that space and find the light that I'm in currently. And I feel like I talk a lot about wrestling, and this is usually the part of an interview, especially with you, where we kind of shift off into real life.
Yeah.
Everybody knows or should know, if you are kind of familiar with me, and if you're not, I am on the brink of celebrating 10 years of my sobriety.
Yes.
I'm fucking ecstatic about that. Something I didn't think I would ever achieve. I honestly dated my life probably to 25 years old because of the way that I was living it. And now I'm not going to say my age, but I'm a little bit older now. And I'm still kicking, and I'm probably in the best shape of my life, physically, mentally, the best shape of my life. And not that I preach sobriety, because I mean, everybody lives a different lifestyle. Some people can control it. I was not one of those people. But man, if you are in a situation where life is a little too rough for you right now, or has been, or if it's rough for somebody that you're familiar with, you're friends with, somebody you love, let them understand that either you, I, or somebody else, we care. We genuinely care. And this earth, this planet, this life is better with all of us in it. And I know how tempting and how appealing that darkness really is, to just shut off the noise and just get rid of it all. Stay here with us. Let us chat a little bit longer. Let us talk a little bit longer with you. There's so many people on this earth that I think need to be told I love you more than we're currently doing so. So what I ask of everybody that's watching this, and if you watch it in the future or whatever, every day just reach out to somebody. Maybe if it's even if it's somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Like right after this podcast, I'm going to call Paul London, and I'm just going to be like, hey man, I love you, because it's the first time I've thought about him in a week or so, and we haven't touched base in a while. And saying this right now is making me think about all of the people that I haven't talked to in a bit. So when we're done here, everybody call somebody you love, text them, Facebook them, tweet them, whatever. There's so many different ways to get in touch with somebody these days. Just let them know that you're thinking about them. And if you are a person that's having an issue, a demon, a battle, a struggle, anything like that, my DMs are always open, and I will have a conversation with you for as long as I possibly can, to keep you going in the right direction. And if I can't help you, I will point you in the direction of somebody who genuinely can help you. There's help always there. Everybody love everybody. That's the most important thing you could take from anything that I say. All the character fun bullshit aside, this all works. Life, wrestling aside, life works better when we do it together. Love is the answer to everything. This hate bullshit, man, it's not for me. It shouldn't be for anybody.
Yeah.
Be nicer to each other online. You never know what that person who's reading that tweet or the message or whatever it's directed towards, you never know what they're enduring on that day. And those words can be so fucking hurtful. I think when you're growing up and you're younger, at least when I was younger, they would say like, oh, sticks and stones can break your bones, words will never hurt you. Yeah. Words are the most dangerous weapon in the world right now, and we need to start using them much more carefully. And whether it was yesterday you started or today, let's not wait any longer. As soon as we're done here, use your words to spread a positive message. Use your words to encourage people. Stop trying to break each other down. There is room in this world for all of us. Wrestling, sports, academics, theater, arts, whatever the fuck it is that you love and you want to do. You want to watch anime all day. Guess what? You can do it sitting next to somebody. Y'all can like the same show. You can talk about it. That's okay. Love each other. That's it.
I love it. Love it. I love it. See, I knew it. I know, like Sky said, she needed that. Told you. I know. And congrats on 10 years. I mean, that's just amazing.
Almost. We're so close.
Yeah, almost. But it's still, it's
we're gonna get there.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing. So somebody better bake a cake, some donuts, some cookies. I guess I'm going to have to bring it up. More reason for me to like come up to Massachusetts. So, but yeah, all his links are in the description below. Go buy some merch. Go buy all his. Oh, the Chaotic show, that's going to be on Twitch. If anybody wants to watch it live, or yeah. Okay.
Maybe not live. I think we're going to do it afterwards because we like to get everything included.
Okay.
We're very big on the the promos and the editing and the story, so everything's got to be included.
Okay, so make sure you guys are subscribed on.
Though I promise you.
Make sure you give him a follow. Mark said, "Great stuff," and what a smile. You guys have been wonderful in the chat. I love you guys so much. So, and I guess that's where we're going to end it. So you guys can go watch AEW because I know you guys want to go watch AEW. So, but guys, you know, support independent wrestling. Stay safe. JT, I can't thank you enough for coming on. So hopefully I see you soon. So, guys, have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.